Hey guys, happy Sunday. Thanks for stopping by for another video here at All I See is W, where we talk about stocks, Bitcoin, and finance. In today's video, we have a lot to cover. I'll be covering technical analysis of Bitcoin as well as strategy, MSTR. We'll cover what my price predictions are, as well as just share with you my overall perspective with what we're about to see in this upcoming week. We've been hearing a lot about tariffs. In fact, just with last week, trillions of dollar was wiped out in Wall Street, mainly stocks, large caps, small caps, S&P, Nasdaq, Dow Jones, Russell 2000s tanked significantly. And now there's questions about whether we'll be entering a recession or not. However, most people started seeing Bitcoin as being the potential safe haven. In fact, we've seen gold also dropping as well. However, Bitcoin held up pretty well. I mean, it's hovering around that 82,000 currently, but most of you are wondering, will we continue to see that solid consolidation with Bitcoin? We'll cover all of that, but just recently, we've been seeing a lot of just dynamics with politics and all of that, with tariffs, where there's countries trying to work with the United States. But when you think about it, though, the United States is like the main consumer of the world. Canada depends on the US. Mexico depends on the US. Why? About 75% of exports from Canada and Mexico, it flows into the United States. So what happens if the customer goes away? That means businesses in Canada and Mexico will not be able to even survive, which is why Trump is able to play his cards right. I mean, in fact, there's so many countries right now trying to work out deals, trying to get to the Mar-a-Lago. I'll cover all of those updates with you now. Let's begin, guys. One key thing that we need to highlight here is that the inflation for the United States, it's dropping significantly. We see here from March to April, it's dropped down to 1.22%. At one point, I mean, this thing was like close to like 4%, but now we're seeing this thing drop significantly, along with US Treasury yield dropping from like high 4% now to like low 4%. With inflation going down, with the US Treasury yield going down, as well as market fears right now, that really expedites the need for Jerome Powell to pull down that lever and bring down the federal funds rate as well as mortgage rates, get the printing, get those printing machines turned on to print more money to stimulate the economy. I think all of that's coming into play right now. So we're going to see a lot of solid news coming out, even though we're going to see more market certainty with the Wall Street. Here's an interesting post. Taiwan offers zero tariffs to the United States in response to Trump's tariffs. So, key factor here with what we're seeing post the Liberation Day. A lot of countries are trying to work with the United States. Why? Because most countries depend on the United States of America. Vietnam also offers to remove all tariffs on US imports to avoid President Trump's tariffs. So you see here, Trump is playing his chess, is playing cards right now, where there's so many countries coming to the United States to work out a deal here. India also is trying to negotiate a new and balanced trade deal with the US to avoid President Trump's tariffs. So when countries tariff the United States has the rights to tariff other countries as well. Anthony Pompliano posts today, expect to see most countries drop their tariffs against the United States in the coming weeks, level the playing field, get back to free trade. So what we're seeing here is a lot of the retails are selling. They're worried about more drops in the stock market. But what's happening? The big time whales, smart investors are buying up right now. Because why? Prices are dropping back down to like 2020 time frame. So this is a great opportunity to dollar cost average down in stocks that you see or Bitcoin at a discounted price. The Bitcoin therapist posts President Trump's administration is so overwhelmingly pro Bitcoin that not owning Bitcoin is one of the most retarded investment decisions you can make, not financial advice. And he brings up a very good point. I mean, if the entire United States is supporting the crypto ecosystem with Bitcoin being the primary coin here, why not invest in the safe haven here? This thing is eventually going to go up to $1 million and become the top number one $1 trillion asset. In fact, it's close to $1 trillion now, but it's at one point going to be multiple $1 trillion bypassing gold. It's not a matter of if, it's coming, guys. Here is a post where the Bitcoin hash rate is exploding. I mean, it's reaching its all-time high here. I mean, it's just increasing exponentially, but the price here, has been retracing from that all-time high of 109,000, but it tends to go up as hash rate goes up. This actually brings more sentiment in the Bitcoin miners. We've heard from Donald Trump's family investing in Hut 8 subsidiary. So I think this is really going to benefit a lot of the Bitcoin miners as well. On top of the Bitcoin ecosystem, price is going to just keep shooting up, which will benefit MicroStrategy as well. Romeo posts today, several days ago, Bitcoin at 84,000, MicroStrategy $297 per share. What will MicroStrategy price be if Bitcoin is around 90K, 100K, 120K, 200K? What's your estimate? So I'd love for you to put your predictions in the chat. Let me know what your thoughts are as soon as Bitcoin reaches, its prior resistance of 100K. What do you think the price of MicroStrategy will be? What about once it doubles to 200K? What will the price of MicroStrategy be? Some are thinking that it may reach $1,500 once Bitcoin goes to 200K all-time high. Based on technical analysis here, what we're seeing with Bitcoin, it's been just hovering in this bull flag here. We've seen that run up since last year. Obviously, Bitcoin tends to run for 3 consecutive years whenever it's in a bull cycle. We've been just seeing this consolidation since the election timeframe. I think that it's ready for a nice breakout, especially after consolidating for many months, similar to what we saw in 2024, where it consolidated for about 8 months until that breakout, that next leg up. We may very well see that next leg up. I'll share with you predictions from what Tom Lee is suggesting. So I would encourage to watch towards the end of the video to watch the Tom Lee video clip as well as Michael Saylor. But what we're seeing here is we may very well have Bitcoin just break out here and it's going to decouple against what we're seeing with Wall Street, where stocks are just dropping right now. Like the Mag 7 stocks are just tanking, but Bitcoin may just have a reverse performance where it'll just go up while the entire market's going to drop down, which is why I believe the United States government, they realize that Bitcoin is just going to keep going up over time from a zoomed out perspective. The fact that it's been just retracing, consolidating for like 5 months, I think it's just going to start U-shaping, V-shaping, whatever you call it. It's going to start going into that 130, 150K at a minimum this year. It may very well go higher. What does that mean for MicroStrategy? Just looking at the technicals of MicroStrategy, it looks very similar to the performance of Bitcoin here. However, there's a lot more volatility when it goes up, it shoots up. I mean, it went up from 550 dropping down to like 220, so it dropped uh, you know, by about 50% from its all-time high, but it's been climbing up here. We're seeing market participants trying to take the price up to the prior resistance, which is becoming, soon to be that new support line at around 340. So, hopefully we'll see the price hover around this prior resistance and the norm reverses where it's at that support line. We can see this coil up and start shooting up here into that new prior resistance of like 450. Once we can see that support be established, we're going to be off to the races. This thing may very well reach the prior resistance 550, get into that 750 zone, and depending on how high Bitcoin can go this year, if it can go up to like 150K, then we may very well see, at a minimum 750 or even higher with the current price right now. If it goes to 200K, we may very well get to that 1200, 1500 zone based on my technical assessment here. With that, I want to play a video clip of Tom Lee and Michael Saylor.
I think so. You do, yeah, I think, part of this was Bitcoin seasonally was just not going to be attractive until after March ends. And now we're finally exiting March. And so I think not only is the calendar looking better, but as you're saying, Fed and central banks are easing, QT's ending. I think that with positive Washington sort of tailwinds means I think Bitcoin can do well to the end of the year.
Right. People love it when I ask you what your year-end target is on Bitcoin.
Yeah,
and makes people very excited.
Yes, and I mean,
one crazy high again.
I think it's still 150 or higher as possible. I know it doesn't feel like it, but once we get through this tariff and that agenda around tariffs, markets can look forward to things that could be positive.
Really kind of in a perfect inflection point, because it's not a slow motion train wreck, because that's the wrong metaphor. It's the opposite of a slow motion train wreck. It's a slow motion parade of wonderful things. They're all going to happen. We know they're going to happen. There's a 98% chance they're going to happen. I just can't tell you exactly the date they'll happen, but I think over the next 4 years, everything you could want that's good is going to happen. And so the market is discounting that. The market doesn't believe any of that. Right? So the idea that you could actually buy Bitcoin at 80,000 right now is a joke. What I said is, when the bank lets you buy it, when Bank of America lets you buy it, and you can just order it and buy $1 billion at a time, it'll cost you $1 million. And when your traditional banker recommends it to you because it's growing 20% a year and it's risk-free in their opinion, it's going to cost you $10 million. And so you can wait until it's easy and risk-free and you'll pay 100 times as much. Or you can do the research and jump through a few hoops right now for Bitcoin and you get a 99% discount.
So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed another episode here at alliseeisW. If you're new to this channel, I would really appreciate hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. Let me know what your thoughts are, what your price prediction of strategy stock is if and when Bitcoin reaches 150K, 200K. I love to hear what your predictions are, and thanks for stopping by. I'll see you on the next one.